So I watched another found footage movie because, as I've admitted to, I'm quite the sucker for found footage films, even when I can tell it's probably going to be pretty bad. This one that I'm about to talk about, it was called Alien Zone of Silence, and I guess they had to tack on Alien or Aliens. I'm forgetting. Let me look it up again. Yeah, Aliens. Okay, more than one. Sorry. Zone of Silence is the one that sticks out to me. It probably the title they wanted, but I guess there's been other films and whatnot about it, because the Zone of Silence is this place in Mexico that's supposed to be like its own Bermuda Triangle. Weird things happen there. Planes fly over it, and their instruments go weird, and I believe there's been some UFO sightings and all that sort of stuff. So it's a good spot to set your idea for what happens here. So basically the plot's very simple. This woman is bringing video equipment with her. She has a friend that she's in contact with, and they're sending video signals back and forth. So, she's Skyping to him and whatnot as she's going into this desert. And the reason she's going is because her brother and his friend had gone on the same trip, and they disappeared mysteriously, and she's trying to find out what happened and all that sort of stuff. So the premise is not that bad. It's the brother and his friend, they were guys who were trying to get their YouTube channel off the ground, and what they would do is do stuff like this. They would go to these hot spots of paranormal activity and this sort of thing, and that's what they did. And so you get some of that. She does find some of his footage, of course, and you're able to see some of it. Uh-oh, something happens to him. And that's all well and good. But again, the acting is not too bad, but you just gotta capture that a bit of where you're just people who are on camera. You're not actually actors, and sometimes it's hard to do, And one of the other things is about found footage is like, is there a good enough explanation for why the cameras are there? Well, of course, the brother, it makes sense, because that's why they were there. They wanted to go have some spooky adventure to put on YouTube and get people to watch their channel, and all that sort of stuff. And they're two goofballs, and they play tricks on each other and stuff like that. And then they disappear. But when she gets there, now, of course, it's more or less it's okay. She's in contact with the other guy because in the hopes that this would prevent what happened to her brother. And if it does happen to her, then there's somebody who isn't there but has documentation of it and everything. And so I guess they meet that point of that the camera continuing on is fine, and that her desire to document it is there. But and the thing of it is, she's completely by herself. There's no one else there for her to act off with. The guy who was remote, but I'm sure that was more or less edited in later, or maybe not. Maybe they shot it simultaneously, whatever. But she was supposed to have a guide meet up with her, but nobody wants to go to the Zone of Silence because, they're scared of it. And she should have listened to that warning. And, of course, typical of horror films, that's the way it always is. And but there's just not enough there. I don't know if there could have been a way to tighten it up a little, because they'll give you little tidbits of what happened to the brother when she sees some of his footage, and when it becomes obvious that something terrible happened to him, or he got abducted by aliens or whatever. Not whatever, that's what it is. And she's all upset, so you have those moments and stuff like that. And then the horror show happens in the last few minutes of the movie. Yes. You gotta go through all that of shaky cam, and everything's dark and stuff like that, to get to the point where she's messing around. She's searching, and she finds what looks to be a corpse. Don't know if that's supposed to be her brother or something. Yeah, it's very brief, but that's basically the big shock scare, I guess. And then after that, she she gets abducted. The friend back at home calls the police and says they need to contact somebody out there in Mexico to go help her. And they do. There's a helicopter on the way, but she gets beamed aboard something, and there's some weird imagery, and like she's seeing some kind of figure in it, and oh, what does it mean? And then that's it. It's just left up to your imagination at that point. No, it's not a good one. It didn't irritate me or anything like that. There's, some films you sit through and like, oh my God, this was stupid. This one is kind of stupid, but you can't really recommend it. Premise-wise, it was okay, but you needed someone with a little more creativity who could up the ante on that. And I think that could have been achieved even without the money to do it. It just wasn't there. So there you go. That's about all there is to say. I guess I'm silent on Zone of Silence or Aliens Zone of Silence. Yeah, so there you go. Probably there's more interesting sort of you could say documentaries, but on the legend of the place of Zone of Silence might be more interesting than this found footage endeavor. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.